Shavua Tov, everyone. Chodesh Tov. Tonight begins Rosh Chodesh Sivan, the month of the giving of the Torah. Welcome to video number 4 in this TillesTells series. Do you remember the circus and the little car that would drive up, and clowns would come pouring out of all the doors, an unending stream of clowns? Well, here's the Jewish version. I heard this story from Yossi Daniels, who told it. I heard him tell it several times to groups of Israeli Hebrew speakers and IDF soldiers. And I associate this story with Rosh Chodesh Sivan, because the first day of Sivan is when the Jews arrived at Mount Sinai after they left Egypt, and the Talmud testifies that it was in a special spirit of absolute unity among the Jews, a very rare thing. And as Rashi poetically comments, like one person with one heart. This story is in my third book, The Light of the Full Moon, and I call it the Impossible Defense. It features a young Israeli. I don't know his name for sure. Let's call him Yinon. And after completing his 3 years of compulsory army service, like many others in his situation, he set out to see the world. He experienced various countries, and he wound up in Canada. And shortly after that, he was broke. So instead of touring around, he had to stay in one place and take odd jobs. After a little while, he was able to save enough money to acquire an old, beat-up small van, and with this he was able to take on a number of delivery jobs, and that helped his financial situation. One of his customers was a Jewish couple who had several children in the local Jewish day school, and they hired him to drive their children to school and back home. Was liked doing it. The children adored him, and the parents were thrilled. A genuine Israeli was driving their children. They told some of their friends, other parents in the school, and other parents also wanted to sign up to have take their children also. It didn't take long until his 8-seater van was filled, but the requests kept pouring in. Finally, he decided he would try it. Why not? He just had hope, and he hoped that the police wouldn't stop him, wouldn't catch him. He taught the children that when he said in Hebrew, "Maher," quick, they would 8 would remain in the seats, and the rest would dive to the floor and lie there until he told them they could get up. But what happened? More and more children were signed up, and soon he had 32 children in the van. Nobody could hide on the floor. The floor was already prime seating space. Well, the inevitable happened. He was stopped by a policeman. Interestingly, not because the policeman saw all the children in the van, but the policeman did notice various violations with his old beat-up van. So he was writing out a standard ticket for such things when he looked up and towards the back, and he happened to look towards the back seat, and he saw all the children on the floor. He stopped. He did a double take. He was shocked. He started to count. He couldn't believe his count. He counted again. 32. He got very upset. He wrote a huge fine, and he gave him a summons to appear in court, and it was for a criminal offense. Well, a few months later, the day of the trial arrived. Yinon didn't have a lawyer. What was the point? What possible defense could there be? His only hope, and some of his friends told him it was really a genuine possibility, was that the policeman wouldn't show up in court. Then the case would be automatically dismissed. But as luck would have it, the policeman indeed showed up, and as soon as he began his testimony, Yinon realized that the policeman remembered him quite well and remembered his van quite well. When he described the situation to the judge was also in shock. 32 children in an 8-seater van. He questioned the policeman. He asked him several times, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" The policeman said he was prepared to swear to the number. The judge became infuriated, and he lectured Yinon severely. Finally, when he wound down, he said to him, "Well, young man, do you have anything to say in your defense?" What was there to say? There was no defense. But then Yinon had an idea. He said, "Judge, Your Honor, 32 children in a small van that seats only 8? Can you really picture such a scenario? Doesn't it sound ridiculous?" The judge had to admit that he was skeptical when he first heard about it, and he decided he would do a test. He assigned one of the court officials to telephone the principal of a nearby school and ask him to send a large number of children down of comparable ages, those that would volunteer, send them down to the parking lot, and Yinon would come with his van, and the policeman would come. The judge would send several representatives of the court to observe, and the policeman would try to fit into the car absolutely as many children as he could. So that's what happened, and it was quite a frustrating experience for the policeman. He tried loading the car in different sequences, in different patterns. He pushed, he squeezed, he shoved. He couldn't come close to fitting 32 children in the van. He couldn't come close to fitting 22 children in the van. And it was clear to the official observers from the court and all the other unofficial observers that had stopped by to see what was going on, that it was impossible to fit so many children in the van. They went back to the court, reported to the judge. The judge pounded with his gavel. Case dismissed. Afterwards, in the parking lot of the court, the policeman confronted Yinon. "Look, you know, and I know that you know that I know, and I know that you know that I know that you know. It's that there were 32 children in your van. But how did you do it?" "It's a simple explanation," Yinon said. "My passengers were very happy to be in my van. They were happy to be there together with all their friends. And they loved, and these children loved their Jewish school, and they loved their friends. The situation with the kids from this school is apparently different."